Greetings, family, friends, and the world. This is Mikael Eric Harris, better known as the Juice, also known as the Alkaline Water Guy. How is everyone doing on this beautiful day? Or night, should I say? Tonight is the night after Sunday, which was yesterday, which was the daytime. Sunday, November 2nd, 2025. This is November, well, it was November 2nd, 2025. We're in the night between Sunday and Monday. And this is Fight Fire with Truth, which is open conversation. We're here every Sunday evening, or Sunday night, should I say. Sunday night at 9 p.m., the night after Sunday at 9 p.m. And here it's just open conversation. We have open conversation of different situations and information. But at this moment in time, I've just been sharing. It was brought to my attention a while back to share my life story. So I'm kind of going over everything. Um, I'm kind of going over kind of like my life a little bit. And I know I'm not sharing every point, but a lot of it is just I'm just going through trying to remember certain things as I go. So in between the points, I can pick up. But before I keep going on, I'm going to pray first, as I always do. Start off with a prayer. And then we're going to go into what the creator or what is here for us tonight to learn and understand. And by doing this, this gives me a chance to really piece some stuff together compared to whatever, because I did a lot. So as I'm sharing this story, I'm learning. I'm going back over a lot of things that I went through in my time past. But other than that, blessed be thou, Father of the universe, that bring forth all living creatures forth from the earth. Blessed be thou, Father of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Blessed be the Father of Israel. Blessed be the Father of the 12 tribes of Israel. Thank you, Father, for all you've done, been doing, and plan to do. We ask you to keep giving us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, life, health, and strength, food, shelter, and clothing. Let us be happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, and prosperous in all that we do. We ask you to keep leading and guiding us so we can help lead and guide others in your knowledge, your word, your ruach, and your way. Help us in every way. Teach us your way, and let us keep growing in your way, your word, your law, and your voice. We ask you to forgive us of the sins and things that we have done in time past, today's time and time that we may not know about. And we ask you to correct us in measure and allow us to know and understand your word, your will, and your way. We ask you to forgive us, our ancestors, and our forefathers for the things that they have done. They taught us to come against you, and let us turn from the ways of the world and turn back to your laws and your ways and be obedient to your laws and your ways. We ask you to help us in every way, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, financial, or spiritual. In all these things we pray. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Praise you, Almighty. Praise you, Almighty. Thank you, Father. Now, just to share with you, as I was saying before I start praying, yeah, I'm going over my life story, the kind of like the history of my life. But I know everything isn't there. There's a lot that's missing. That's the reason why I'm sharing information in between times. That way, I can always go back and when if I decide to do a story, a book, or what have you, I can always be like, okay, no, I did this, because I know it's a lot that I'm missing. A lot of friends that I haven't even mentioned, a lot of incidences that has happened, and you only can do so much in a little bit of time. And I'm just going over everything. This is Mikhail's question and answers 13 and 14. Mikhail's life, Mikhail's life story, question and answers 13 and 14. Life of Mikhail, question and answer 13 and 14. This is 13 right now, which is part one. I always have two parts. Because on live, Facebook, and Instagram, I have part one and part two. Live, excuse me, live YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, I have part one and part two. But the full version is on X, formerly known as Twitter. The full version on YouTube, Juice Pro 33, which is under video, and the full version is under Patreon .com /LKHYYM, and the full version is on Patreon and Rumble.com /LKHYYM. So the full versions are on those. And like I say, I'm just going over my life story, just putting pieces together, getting things together, before I go into a book mode or maybe a movie. Who knows? It was very interesting. A lot of stuff right now may seem boring because the way I'm just bringing it, because I'm remembering as I'm going through. But if the real questions was coming, or if it was just, like if I was actually being interviewed and I could just talk about certain things at certain times, it'd be a different story. But um, Brother G1 is the one who brought up the information that I should probably tell my story because of some of the things that he's heard or some things I shared at the time that was in conversation. But just telling the story, it sounds a little boring, but it's a lot more than what you think, especially with my dancing. I dance a lot as well. So what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start back from where I remember where I left off. I made it to Atlanta. Um, it is the end of 2004, beginning the end of 2004, which was actually middle of 2004. I made it to Atlanta. Stayed with Gabriel the first night there. Was trying to connect with Kingdom of Yah, and that was just a whole different ordeal because of just the mentality. I just gonna put it like that. Not putting anybody down or up or anything like that. Just the mentality of certain people that you deal with. I just knew who to deal with. I put it like that. So end up moving out in Norcross because I moved out. When I brought my cousin, helped my cousin moved out there. That's where I found my apartment at. End up going out to Norcross. The second day of June, in order because they didn't have my apartment ready, and I paid for it, and it wasn't ready on the first, so I ended up moving in on the second. And as I shared, also ended up letting the brother move in, trying to help him out, and ended up that was the wrong choice because sometimes some people may be going through certain things that they may have to get whooped, and you can end up getting a whooping behind the person that's getting whooped because of the whooping that the creator is putting on them, and you're stepping in doing something you shouldn't be doing. So that ended up happening because I ended up falling off, and in a few jobs that I've gotten. In the few jobs that I've gotten, I had ended up smoking a little bit here and there and just chilling and doing certain things and stuff like that. And I had the wrong environment around me, ended up losing the jobs, right? So got to the point where, and like I said, also I met this brother named Mitch, Freddie Mitchell, but we called him Mitch. Me and him, we was tight. We got tight. Studied a lot. Always talking about the Bible. Like me, I've been wanting to talk about lesson like no different than today. Always been one since I've been through my spiritual awakening. I was growing and growing and growing in the scriptures, right? So me and him, we've always talked scriptures, and we talk about knowledge about um, health. Health, being healthy and things like that. Um, that's my boy Mitch. So we hung a lot. Was going out and stuff like that. And this was in 2000. This was like around 2004. This was like around August, November. Cause I moved there in June, and I was hanging out here and there, got a job at UPS. Got a job at U-Haul. Transferred from U-Haul out there on Jimmy Carter. That's where it was. Jimmy Carter near 85, I believe, and ended up going to the one down there, in downtown Detroit, downtown Atlanta. Um, was working there for a minute, eating up. As I shared last week, got pissed at the manager there because I was the only one out there working. He was acting like I was 10 men and rushing me. So I snapped and broke, and I left. Excuse me. But I had other friends at the U-Haul. Just remember that because I remember a couple times I needed to use U-Haul. I had already made friends at other U-Haul places. You know how sometimes you have connections. I was always good at making connection with other people, and I thank God, thank the Creator for that. I don't want to say I like saying God. I thank the Creator for that, and that almost slipped out. I didn't know how that came. I always say Yah. I thank Yah for always being able to connect with people. You know what I'm saying? Connect with people, build with people, not just for me, for them, vice versa. I get information because I'm always keeping numbers, right? Always keep numbers and just get to know people. So end up moving from my apartment out there because of the brother and then his company that he was keeping. End up losing that and end up and now I'm moving. I remember moving first with not someone not too far from me in that area out there in Norcross. Stayed with them in the room for a quick minute. Then okay, go G1 coming in. Greetings, G1. Glad you can make it, bro.
Yo, peace, peace.
Peace, bro. Yeah, I was in the middle of just sharing the information about when I was in Atlanta. Lost my first apartment there. Actually, had my first apartment, lost my first apartment there due to being with the wrong environment, inviting the wrong environment into my home, and lost a few jobs by being in the wrong environment, smoking a little bit here, and then it came up in my urine and stuff or in my test. So I was there for like about 2 or 3 weeks, and before I can finish my time out, they had to let me go. A lot of the jobs wanted me. They like my work. They like my work ethic. They said, yeah, but we gotta let you go. Your test came back negative, came back bad. I was like, dang, but I had several jobs and I had to be let go. And this is what I meant by when I was sharing earlier with everybody. That the fact is that you got to watch who you're bringing into your surroundings. And this is when energies, and I didn't know about energies like this at first. Now I knew the Bible. I learned the Bible when I was in Mississippi. I learned the Bible, Genesis, Revelation, and everything throughout. I really understood what I was learning. You can almost say religiously, but it was things still in the Bible that was there that's a part of life. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean religious. I'm just saying that's life. So now I come to understand later on that certain people around you, it all depends on the company they keep and the energy that they're in. You can tell if a person have good or bad energy. Now you have certain stones and stuff that will give you, and that's something people don't understand as well. Like I wear an organized energy conductor. I don't have it on me right now. Usually I have it on. I left it in the room. Yep, it's in the room. Usually have my organized energy conductor on me, and it's not a pendant or something you worship or like a cross or nothing like that. It's actually energy from an organized energy conductor that actually repels negative energy and attracts positive energy. And this is when I started learning about. Well, that was later on after I got the machine, but that is after 2007 when I started learning that part of the information I'm talking about right now. But like I say, this is 2005, 2004 going into 2005. I just made it to Atlanta. I'm out there. Um, got my own apartment. And like I said, got this brother, let him move in with me. And then ended up losing the apartment within, I think, by 2006. Yeah, 2006. I was in the apartment with this brother named Obadiah. But before 2006, it was in later around 2005. Yep, sure was. It wasn't too long. I was only there for like about 3, 4 months, maybe a little longer. Going into the winter, yep, of 2004. Now that I'm thinking, around 2004, going into the winter, I was still there, and I was kind of heading out because of non-payment of bills and stuff like that, and really wasn't getting help from the people that I brought in. They was, that was freeloading companies. See, that's what I'm saying. You start understanding people by their character, and you try to help people. You think they're cool, but cool ain't got nothing to do when it comes to bills. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm going back and I'm trying to move forward slowly as I'm seeing things, because I actually listened to some of the last weeks because I was just kind of flabbergasting through it. But now I'm just trying to walk through the Atlanta experience while I was there. I'm trying to walk through it a little slower. So from 2004, the latter part, or just before the latter part of 2004, me and Mitch met up. We got cool. We worked. I think we were working together. No, we were just hanging out. We was hanging out. He introduced me to his family. I didn't have any family there at the time because it was just me. I did have a family there, but I didn't know him at the time. I had to get to know him later on. But like I'm saying, that I was there, got jobs, few jobs, and they had to let me go. Now, Now it's I've well, this is around late 2004. Later in 2004, I'll put it like that. Later in 2004, um, I ended up moving into this house with this sister. Um, was there for a little while, and then ended up leaving there, and then up going to this sister named Alonia knew this brother named Abadai. Now Alonia was a dwarf. She's someone I met and knew. Met the company. A lot of people knew her in the Hebrew Israelite community because she was short. She was real short. She was, you would call her a dwarf, but she wasn't really a midget. But she was a dwarf. She was like about 4 or 5, wasn't even 5 feet, about 4 or 5, something like that. She was short, come up to like about maybe a little bit higher than my waist, maybe a little bit, maybe just a little taller than that. But you know, she was a good friend of mine. She told me about this brother named Abadiah, which was a Hebrew Israelite. He stayed in a community in Clarkston. Yep, he stayed in a community in Clarkston, um, not too far from Stone Mountain. Clarkston and Stone Mountain's not too far from each other. So, and that was off Memorial Drive. There you go. That was off Memorial Drive. And just remember stuff as I go. So, like I said, me and Mitch, we used to go out all the time. We used to go to like little sports bars, just go out, hang out. And I used to do some karaoke, and I used to go out. I used to dance a lot. You know, like I said, dancing was my thing. So I went out. We would go out, you know, sit down, chill, go out to parties and stuff. That's one thing I was glad, kind of like glad that me and Mitch was connected because he was good for going out, you know. He was he. That's all I'm gonna say about him. I'm not gonna put, you know, the way he was or anything like that. But you know, he was a good brother. Me and him was tight. You know, we would hang out. We would go out to bars and stuff like that. And like I said, I do a little karaoke, but mostly I like to dance. But you know, and you know what? You know how those naive people are. I'm tell you, I was like, this was me. I've always been this way. You know how some people can go to clubs and get the girls? I wasn't that type of person. I go to club, I like to dance. And it was just like me, I just go and dance. Just have a good time, dance with girls. Wouldn't have an idea if these women like me or not. Wouldn't even be paying it no attention because I'm that naive. That was me. Now I'm just giving you my understanding. I was naive to if women really liked me or not. I really didn't know. So if you would think, which I know I could have, thinking now that I'm older, being being the man I am today, to understand and see things for what things are, I could have been leaving with all kind of women if I had the mindset like that. But my mindset wasn't like that. I'm glad I wasn't like that. I'm glad my mindset wasn't like that. You know, because it's been plenty of situations that I was in that people thought that I was approaching them that way, and I wasn't. And I really wasn't. I really just was just friendly. Hey, how you doing? Whatever. Let's hang out. Let's do this or whatever. You know, even the girls, I would say, but you know, I wasn't trying to talk or come on to them. I'll just be like, hey, you know, naive. Actually, one of those naive beings. That was me. You know, I remember people said, man, I bet you get all the girls. I'm like, what you talking about? People used to say that. I mean, like I said, I met a lot of people, had a lot of friends, had a lot of associates, a lot of people I got to know, you know. And even if women did, they never came on me, so I would never know. So I'm just put that point out there. So like I said, me and Mitch, we would hang out, we would go, you know, we would run, we would go to clubs and stuff like that, right? Um, Now I remember, I'm trying not to miss nothing, but I remember, and like I was sharing that last week as well. I was doing choreography for this brother named Boo Boo Black, which is Terrell Williams, which is Cephas's brother, right? And I also went back and told y'all what happened in '99 when me and Cephas had to go to Atlanta to take care of some business because of whatever he had to do, you know, with his brother, something that he had to do with his brother's situation. So I rode out to Atlanta with him in '99. And I felt the energy like I need to be there. I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be in Atlanta. So that was in '99. So I ended up making it to Atlanta in 2004. Not even they had nothing to do with the connection. Just end up going out there because my cousin had moved out there. So, but now back to the latter of 2004. Um, I remember, like I said, me and Mitch met. We hung out. I was one, I was a worker because I'm working for U-Haul, and I'm in a different area now. So now I think it would. I don't know if I would catch the bus downtown or I was traveling. That's why I had a vehicle. I had a red Trans Am that I bought from this brother. Not bought fully, but I was paying on it from this brother named Shaleen, a Hebrew brother that was, he got in the point of selling cars in Mississippi. So I had bought that car before I left. But that car had later on, after going out, after traveling so much, that car had a lot of electrical issues. So it was a lot of time that car was broken down around town. I had to go and get it. I had to have it towed, but I took care of it because it was a debt that I owed the brother. So I ended up had to, and I think this was around the same time. Was it 2005? It was around 2005 when I had to take that car and even though a sister, like I said, a friend of mine, she was a singer. I told her, I said, my children need me, but I can't make it Detroit. And the car I got, it ain't gonna make it. It don't even start. She said, well, I'll try to make it the best way I could. And I said, yeah, you're right. So I tried to start up, didn't even make it to Alabama. And that car broke down on me. So my sister and my brother ended up coming to pick me up. And this is sometime in like spring of 2005, I believe. I think it's around the spring of 2005 at this time. So, um, yeah, it was for 2006. So it was around spring of 2005. Because I'm remembering a lot of other things happening after then. So now I leave the car with my mother. 'Cause my brother and my sister, they came out. He came out with his with like what you call it, a trailer. Put the car in the trailer. We rolled back to Mississippi, and my mother ended up getting the custody of my two youngest, which was Latasia and Junior, Mike Mikael Jr. She ended up getting the custody of them. Now I believe she had custody for 2 years. Yeah, I believe she had custody for 2 years. But I think just before that is when 2000, yeah, because 2007 is when I got my machine. So yeah, she had custody. My mother had custody for 2 years, but I think just before that, she ended up coming to Atlanta to visit her sister, and she came over to visit me with the children. I forgot when in this time because I remember taking the children to a school that she had them enrolled in before she got them, and then she left, and then the situation, whatever happened with the situation with my son getting bit up. They said a puppy did it, but I know it was his brother. And it had to be his brother. His younger brother, I mean, his older brother, but his one next to him, the second oldest, had to do it. But he had bite marks all around his body. That's when we had to go there. And that's when my mother ended up getting the custody for 2 years. So a lot happened in that situation. But and yeah, I remember. So it was in 2005 when she got custody, and that's when that happened. And because when I made it there, they had already had court. I couldn't do nothing. Like I said, my car was messed up. It always seemed like something was. When you sit back and observe your life, I just want to tell whoever's listening. If you ever sit back and observe your life, you can see how things play out in a certain way, where either you were supposed to be there or you are not there for a purpose. It was something that stopped you from being where you need to be. If you ever just sit back and just observe because I've done that. I've done it. I've watched it. I've seen the reason why I left Detroit and when I was in Atlanta, and when I was in Germany. I sat back and watched like when I had to leave my lady in Germany to come here. Well, I was in Mississippi at the time. Just when you sit back and just observe life, you can almost see a pattern in your life. And if you just look and observe and just watch what you've been through, and at certain points, you can see things. That's what I've been through. And I recognize certain points in my life, you know. So, like I said, my mother ended up getting the custody of my children, but they did was so before that. I think before that happened, because I was pissed at her at that time. So it was before that happened is when they came to see me and they was at school and stuff like that. Then she ended up going back to Mississippi because she came to visit her sister and she stayed with her sister for a minute. Then if she had enrolled in school and then she came and brought them by me and I believe, or it was right after that. Because I'm thinking I had alkaline water and we gave Mikael some alkaline water. He messed all over himself because they pushed all this stuff out. So I'm trying to think, was it at that time or was it not? Can't remember exactly. But it's either, I know it was 2 years when mom had me. That was 2005 to 2007. And I'm still trying to think on that situation with when they was with her when I was taking them to school. I think I was still carrying Mike, and I think Latasia was walking. So I'm still trying to remember. Can't remember. But on those two situations. But yet and still trying to get to the end of not to the end of the story, but just still moving on. In 2005, like I said, we were doing a lot. Oh, now in 2005, this is when I met Desiree. This is when Boo Boo Black was doing his thing. This is when I started getting on the train. Actually, now I'm staying with Obadiah. I had to move with Alonia introduced me to Obadiah. Obadiah's a Hebrew brother. He was cool, had his own apartment, and he was renting his rooms out. So I had a room over there with him. And I was there for some years. I was there till at least about 2000. Like my boy Leviticus, young man from Mississippi, that my brother-in-law introduced me to, was going through some stuff, not knowing that he was bipolar. But let me get back to this before he came to be with me. And at this time I had the alkaline water. So this was in 2007 at this time. 2007, 2008. But like I said, at this time, Mitch introduced me to the information about the alkaline water. That was in 2004, 2005. He introduced that information to me. I was sharing last week about Kaya, a friend of mine, a friend of ours, the Hebrew community, but she's out in Atlanta, so we used to travel, going back and forth to some of the Hebrew Israelite community, or should I say, meetings that they would have. Like they had like a grand meeting where we would go. Me and her would ride together because she needs somebody to drive with her sometimes. Like I said, sometimes we go to Mississippi. Some of the meetings that they had or conferences they would have, they had like in Jackson, Tennessee, just different places. Me and her would travel. We was real cool. Excuse me. And at this time, I was gaining information on DVDs on Maxwell Jordan, um, DVD. Oh man, I had all kinds of DVDs. DVDs on, or I had one called Eating, and it was talking about how the food was contaminated. It was just a lot of information I was just coming across. A lot of DVDs, a lot of information I was coming across. You know. Then as I was saying that, all this is going on. Now I'm going to see Boo Boo Black, which is Terrell Williams, Cephas's brother. And he got this song called "Bring That Chick to the Middle of the Flow." Bring that chick to the middle of the flow. Boom, 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 boom. It was nice. And they said it sounded like Hustle and Flow. It's a song on Hustle and Flow that everybody said they heard them. Man, it sounded like that's. But we never went to listen to Hustle and Flow. I had never went. it was a long time before I ever saw it on television, or because I didn't go to the movie to see it, I saw it on television. So I made a nice routine off that. It was a freaky routine, but I made a nice routine off of it. Um, oh boy. Made a routine off that, and then I was coming back and forth from Brother Obadiah's apartment where I was staying at, and I would I would catch the bus and the train out to Boo Boo Black's place and where he was getting everything together. So one day I'm heading out there, when I think I shared this already, but I'm gonna share it again. I'm heading out there, and the Spirit told me to get up on the train. So I get up, and I said, when the Spirit tells you to speak, you ought to speak. So I got up, and I said, so I ended up talking about the Valley of Dry Bones, Ezekiel 37. Some people was listening, and then there was a lady asked me to come sit down. I sat down by her, and me and her, we had a conversation. And that same day, now this is around June, July, July, August, around this time, right? Dang, I forgot to tell y'all all about how I used to work at this place called Bojangles. I used to be the mascot out there, dancing out there on was that Jimmy Carter Boulevard, or no, it wasn't Jimmy Carter, but what was the name of that street? Trails. It was something Trail, Indian Trail, I think it was. That's it, Indian Trail. It used to be a Bojangle, not too far from the freeway, and I used to work there, and I worked for Ashley Furniture as well. When I was still out there in um, in Norcross, so I was there for a little bit of time. But yet still, what I'm saying is that, and that just kind of hit me. I just came back with that. I was out there dancing out there, and then my man, what's called names? Not Kevin. I can't even think of his name, but he was the manager. Me and him became real cool. He would show me the stats. He said, "Man, we make money when you out there dancing." That's all I had started working, because I started working for Ashley Furniture, so I didn't work in the store no more. So that was just like a little side. I was still working there, but I would just get out there and work for about 2 or 3 hours. And my 2 or 3 hours, I'd be standing out there dancing on the street, on Indian Trail, out there at Bojangles, right? And the manager, dang, I forget his name. Mm, I forget his name. He was a good friend of mine too. Never, something like this. Start with the N, but I forgot his name. But cool brother. Me and him was real cool too. Like I said, I got to meet a lot of people. That just hit me. So when I would be out there dancing, he said he actually brought me in and said, "Look at the stats. The child, when you go out there and dance, our stat goes up, and then as soon as you leave from dancing, the stat goes down." He did that I think he showed me that for like about a month or two. He see that when I be out there dancing on the street in my little Bojangle in the chicken suit, dancing out there in the chicken suit, he showed me how that happened. So, like I said, I was there. I would go to I would go to Bojangles. I would go to Bojangles in the morning, early in the morning, get me a salad, then go right in the back of them to Ashley Furniture, go to work, and I was, moving furniture. And Ashley Furniture has some good heavy furniture too, you know. So I work for Ashley Furniture, get off, and then either on my off days or some days I come back and then I'll be out there dancing outside. So uh, I was just eating salads, and like I was still vegan at that time. I was vegan at this, I was vegan at this time as well. You know, I think the only thing I'd probably eat is some fish. I think I was eating some fish at this time. But back that was in my early. It was in 2000. That was in 2005, I believe, as well. That was before I moved to with Obadiah. Yep, that was before I moved to Obadiah. I'm just trying to remember on some things. Like I said, I'm just things is coming back. It's like clicking in my mind. A lot of stuff I used to do and the things that has happened. I'm just putting it out there so it can always be, so it can be recorded. So I need it at a later time. I can go back over this and be like, man, I can put this baby together and remember everything that I've been through. So back to now. That was just a little snippet I wanted to snip in and put in there because I end up working back with Ashley Furniture again. And a lot of things happened. I ended up leaving, and then I'm coming back because I had to leave that side of town, but I can't end up coming back over there. I think I was traveling or riding at this time, but I don't remember. Now, where was I at? I was talking about now I'm with Obadiah. I'm staying over at Obadiah Place. Tristan came with the children a few times. She done left and disappeared. Me and Mitch, we hanging. Now comes the time when, like I'm saying, Boo Boo Black. I'm on the train. Back to that. I'm on the train. This is in 2005. And I remember it was like, you know how you hear the thunder? Boom. But it wasn't no rain or nothing. You just heard the thunder. And it hit me. It was 10 years ago this year I went through my spiritual awakening. So it was like I heard that rumble, and that just kind of brought me back to my promise that brought me to the truth. I put in songs right and gave it to the world. Now, I remember just hearing a rumble, and I was at Boo Boo Black Place at the time. You know, I was the only one being aware of this because this was within me. So now comes the time of, now I'm on the train. This is still in 2005, and this is around the end of the summer, the mid or end of summer of 2005. Because what I remember is that I'm over there, I'm going back to Boo Boo Black House, and I'm doing the routine for him, bring that chick to the middle of the floor, and I go back home, supposed to get paid after we get done there with everything, you know. And then I ended up getting on the train going that way. And then, like I said, I shared the information on the train. Woman asked me to come down, shared about the Valley of Dry Bones, Ezekiel 37, 1 through 14. Shared that on the train after Spirit told me to get up and speak to the people. The lady asked me to come down and sit with her. That we sat down, we talked, and I just shared with her some information about myself. Then I would do that all the time. I would get on the train. But that same day that I got up and did that, when I got to Boo Boo Black House, he was in there, practicing with the songs and the singers and the songs, whatever they were doing. So I went out and sat on the patio. Now I'm sitting on the patio. I see this little black and blue butterfly just flying. This is a certain thing that happened. Flying around, and I'm sitting on the couch, right? And this butterfly it landed on the pillow. It was like a blue pillow. It was like a pillow, a multicolored pillow that's sitting down, right? And I looked at it. So now I took my phone out and I took a picture, and it stayed there. I took 7 shots, took another picture, got closer. The 5th picture was so close, the wings was on both ends of the picture. That's how close it got. Then the 6th picture, I put my hand there, took the picture. The 7th picture, it got on my hand. I picked it up and I took another picture. That was my 7th picture, and then it flew off. And to me, that 7 meant something to me. Like I said, about energy and numbers and stuff, I didn't know about this at this time, but that just meant something to me. There's 7 pictures and the 7 shots with that butterfly, black butterfly. It was that just meant something to me, you know. So when it flew off, I just thought about it, just like something. It was like a sign. There you go. That me did what I did on the train, and that black and blue butterfly came. That was a sign to me, and this was in the midsummer of 2005, and I remember that. So I would share that situation with a few people. So me and Kaya, we was riding one day, going to a meeting or a conference, and I was sharing with her with that in the vehicle. And she said, "Black butterfly." And then she told me about Denise Williams. I think that was her. Yeah, I think it was her. I know, but I was having a conversation with her with that, or I heard the song "Black Butterfly sail across the water." Tell
That's what I
yourself.
was thinking about the whole time you was talking about that. The butterfly, it made me think about that song.
Yep. She brought that to my attention, and that made me think Black Butterfly, talking about us as a people sailing across the waters. And that was my sign. And I have been doing it ever since from that point on. I get on the train, I talk about something. I talk about the Bible. I talk about us as a people. I talk about the alkaline water. I talk about when I start finding out more information about the no national ID card, because there was a website that talked about the national ID card was coming out, but it was a site that said no national ID. So I get up and I tell people about that. I talk about the mark of the beast, all kind of stuff. I was sharing. So yeah, bro, you on point. You was right on point. But that was my sign, black butterfly. So when that day from that point on, I would get up and I talk every time, no matter where I go. I try to speak about that, right? So it got to the point that now I'm speaking, and now people begin to laugh and point the finger at me, this and that, every once in a while. Sometimes people listen, sometimes people wouldn't, some people just be paying me no attention, some people would, some people would talk to me. Every so often is different. But one time I just felt bad. I was like, Father, you said, I'm trying to get the information to the people, and then the Spirit came to me and repeated what I said. Spirit said, you said if I brought you to the truth, you'll put the truth in songs and writing and give it to the world. It's up to the world to accept it or reject it. Right then, I was like, I'm good. As long as I do my job, as long as I'm putting it out there, they can accept it or they can reject it. I'm not going to be at fault because I'm doing my job. And I understand that if I say it, if it hit their ear, it's a seed being planted. Because whether they listening or not, it's just the fact that I heard that somewhere. Wait a minute. I know that I'm planting a seed, but the Father is going to germinate it and grow it. I already know that. So my main thing is you have to say it, because that's the same thing that happened with my children's mother in Germany. When I told her, oh, gee, you ain't Karen, I had to say it. I had to say it. And when I realized that when I said that to her, I broke something. I broke something like right now. If I mess around, if I do something, I tell my wife. Matter of fact, at this point, I'll tell my wife before I do anything. At this point, if I mess around with somebody, because I know what I have. That's the difference. I know what I got in this woman. So it's not about jeopardizing. She knows that I can have more than one wife. She knows that. But I'm not going to bring nothing in here that's going to jeopardize our house. That's going to be, that's not going to say a risk. I'd rather bring a diamond in his house than bring a rock, if you understand what I'm saying. If I bring someone in this house, they're going to definitely be an asset for me and my wife. Now, not even if it's in the house, even if it's someone else I join myself with, they got to be an asset. I ain't gonna have nobody who gonna come and just be a burden, or just want to be someone just to be a body. Can't have that. So the whole point is my wife understands and know that I can have more than one wife.
Dead planet, like your woman, that's your Earth.
There you go.
But like, other planets, you might have some other planets, but it can't be like you said, no dead planet, no.
There you go, bruh.
Some sort of one of the planets in the universe, but your Earth, that's your Earth. Your woman now, that's your Earth. Right?
That's right. That's my life. That's my life source at this point. You know.
She reflects on the light that you've been giving her, exactly, and produce all the seeds you've been planting in the soil. Like she's that fertile soil.
There you go, bro.
Like you said, you don't want nothing, just no dead moon, just something that ain't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Everything and everyone has their purpose, and if you hear, you're gonna have a purpose. It's got to be a purpose behind what you do, or the asset that you will be for this household.
Exactly. All the planets ain't the Earth, but other ones have, like you said, each planet got its own power and purpose.
There you go, bro. That's it. Yep. And if everybody think like that, because No, I don't even want to get off on that because I'll be talking about the women of the day. So I don't even want to get off on that. But you understand. I'm glad you have you understand where I'm at, bro. So just the fact that now I'm getting into what happened after now when I said that spirit I know that I know in my all I know is that I just gotta get out here and say it. As long as I'm doing my job, I ain't gotta worry about it, and I'm still good with the creator because I'm doing my job. Who it's for, they're gonna hear it. Who is not, they may not get it or they may get it later. So I just made sure I kept doing that all the time I was in Atlanta. Every time I catch the train, I'll be on the train, on the bus, and I do it all the time. So that was my point from that point on in the summer of 2005. Then I was leaving Boo Boo Black House one day and I was catching the bus going back home. I was in not the cab, I was in the Smyrna area. I ended up coming up to this store, and this was in 2005. This was like the summer of 2005. I went into this Shell gas station, and I seen this woman. It was like love at first sight to me. Her name was Desiree, and she was fine to me. She was short, petite. I mean, her body was tight. You know, she was slim. She was petite. She wasn't, she was petite, nice, tight body. Hair, hair looked good, nice thick lips. And I was like, you know how the first time you see you like, man. And that's how I felt. I was like, boy. So I wasn't ashamed to walk up to her. I said, excuse me, you mind if I talk to you for a minute? Because I wasn't ashamed to talk to a female. I wasn't taking to do, but I wasn't forceful. But I would come up, hey, how you doing? And I just let them know, I think you're cute. I'd like to talk to you. I ain't gonna be sitting up trying to play no games. I'm gonna do I just let them know. If they say no, good, fine. You just I ain't gotta waste no time. So, and then when I told her, she was at the counter, and I told her, I said, can I talk to you for a minute or whatever? She said, I'll talk to you outside when I'm about to get some gas. I'll talk to you outside. Wasn't no problem. She came out, she was pumping gas. Me and her, we had a conversation. We switched numbers. And it was ironic. I lost my phone, and I think we connected once or twice, and I lost my phone 2 or 3 times, and I don't do that. That I didn't even realize that was a sign. But I lost my phone, looked for a call, couldn't get any contact with her, didn't write a number down, so she ended up connected with me later. And we connected, and then I remember the first time we really kind of. I think I went to the mall, met her at the mall, seen her, we kissed, and we went back to Boo Boo Black House, and I told her what I was doing choreography, and from that point on, we was connected, and then but she was doing at this time. Her name was Desiree, and at this time she was doing. She had just got out of doing facial, but now she's doing massage therapy. She's going to school for massage therapy. And, you know, like I said, I wouldn't say I was naive on that, but I was more naive. But we was cool. She never showed me that she was cheating or anything like that because we was getting to know each other. But she was going to school a lot. She always said she was going to school. She was handling her business at school. I was doing what I was doing, and we would see each other every so often. We weren't seeing each other all the time. We'd see each other every, like maybe almost every other week we were seeing each other. We see each other once or once upon a time, something like that. Now, this is in 2005. Now it's coming to. I remember this point here. I remember. I remember. Coming near the end of 2005, I remember going out. I used to go with my boy. I was telling you about with Bojangles, the manager. We would go to no. We would ride to the games they would have in Alabama. They would have games because he went to college in Alabama. So I would ride with them. They used to love me, see me dance. We used to, like I said, I used to meet a lot of people, see a lot of people dance. We used to dance and everything. And I used to dance and everything. So I met a lot of friends by me dancing. When I get out there, dance on the dance floor, get to meet people, and it was like that was my connection with people. Cause when I get on the dance floor and dance, that was my connection, and we'd be cool, and we'd go from there. But I met him at work, but he was shocked when he seen me dance. So we went on out to Alabama, and we had fun out there. And I remember coming back. Desiree ended up coming. She stayed over. I think that was the first time. As a matter of fact, it was October. It was quote unquote. We made it back the night of what they call Devil's Nights on the 30th. I remember that. On that because that was the first time she spent the night. We didn't do nothing, but it's the first time she spent the night over my house. We went out. She came. He dropped me off. She ended up coming over that night, and we went out. And we went out, got something to eat. We came back. She spent the night. I gave her a nice massage, and she really liked my massage. And she spent the night. We didn't do anything, but there was certain songs that was played that night. You know, sometimes you reminisce on certain songs. There was certain songs played that night where we remember. But and you know, she played them, but you know, it was a certain song where we remember, and it was just from that point on, it was like we was connected. You know, we was connected. We didn't, like I said, we didn't have intercourse, nothing like that. It took some time. It was back now. That was 2005. It was almost the time of her Earth Day before we connected like that. And her Earth Day is like in May. I'm just gonna say that it's like in May. So, but I remember in 2005, in the end of 2005, I ended up Cephas came and got me, and we ended up going to Mississippi. Now, he wanted me to ride with him, but I couldn't get back home because he was hoping coming back or dropping me back off. I ended up getting stranded in Mississippi because I don't know if it was a snowstorm or I think it snowed and we couldn't go back right off. But I remember being in Mississippi for about a week or two. And I remember Desiree sending me some pictures because I was stuck. And this is when she talked about Mary J. Blige. What's the name of that Mary J. Blige? Can I miss you? Boom, 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 boom. I can hear the song, but that Mary J. Blige when that came out, um, and she shared that with me while I was there, and you know we just kept in contact. Then I made it back, and like I said, we had more contact, but it was more like at first while she was studying, going to school, it was more like long distance while she was there. Then when she kind of got out of school, graduated, whatever, we kind of made a little bit more contact, connect more of a connection. Especially after I made it back from Mississippi. When I made it back, we got a little bit more closer. Oh, I got to tell you about this. Oh yeah, this is another spiritual situation that happened. See, a lot of stuff be happening, and I'm talking and things are coming up. Now it's 2006. I remember this. This is around March of 2006. And she would come over every so often. I would want to spend more time with her, but you know, and I didn't realize how deep I was because every time I opened my mouth, it's Desiree, Desiree, Desiree. You know how sometimes you can be around other friends and they can be like, man, we talk about it so much, but you don't realize you're talking about it like that. And there was this other brother named Dex Lee. He was a choreographer. I remember being in Detroit. I think it was in 2005. I was in Detroit, and I was in Detroit at the time, and this was around the summer of 2005 because it was the first time I seen my daughters again. The second time I seen my daughters. First time I seen my daughters after leaving town, um, after leaving going to Germany was in '98 at my uncle's funeral, or for my uncle's funeral. And I seen him for a quick moment for about 30 minutes, if not an hour at that time, 30 minutes to an hour at that time. The second time I saw him was 2005. And when I came back, I was up in Detroit. At that time, I seen my daughters at that time, just trying to piece things together. 2005, I seen him, took some pictures and stuff with him then. That was before I made it back and before Boo Boo Black and Desiree. That was just before then, because at this time, I was the manager over that. Now I think I was telling y'all about me being. I was working. I was in Norcross, and I was working at this place. And I was the head. I did the rehab, and I was the manager over the come on. I was the manager over the warehouse in the back area because we was doing a lot of cabinets and appliances and stuff like that. And I set up and rehab the whole warehouses twice. I did one for this female who wants to be a man, um, but looked like a female, but her mindset, well, you know what I'm talking about. And then I transferred, and yeah, that was 2000. That had to be in 2005. Yeah, because that was before Desiree. Yeah, so that was like, yeah. Now, just things is coming together. So, because I remember that, and I remember going back. I remember seeing Dina again. It was before me and Desiree connected. I remember seeing Dina again, which is my oldest girl's mother. And we was having a conversation. This is when Dina's friend, when I was actually at the job, me and her, I'm in the back, I'm on the phone, and her friend was telling me that Dina was crying for me. He left and all this and that. I said, and then she said, "See, I told you playing games, whatever." That I just remember. I think her name was Dee Dee. Dee Dee was telling me that, and us three was on the phone at the time. We just having a conversation. But that was after came to Detroit, made it back to Atlanta, and I was working for Howard. It's not Howard Mills. It was a I forgot the name of the company, but it was a foreign company. But that's just another point to put into the story. And I think I shared about the woman that came there pregnant, and then she got rid of me because of the last place I worked at, same company, but I transferred from there. And Mitch said, "Man, don't you want to see what's gonna happen to her?" I said, I ain't gotta see what's gonna happen. I know the creator gonna get her." He said, "You don't want to see it?" I said, "I ain't got to see it. I know the creator gonna get her." And she had difficulties, and the baby came. It was different. I just put it like that. It was bad. I didn't have to see it, but I heard about it. You don't mess with the creator's people, servants. That's all I'm gonna say. You don't mess with the creator's servants because you never know what's gonna hit you. That's why I didn't worry about it. So I'm glad that came up, so I can put that in, so that I can remember of that. So um, now that was in 2005. Yeah, that was in 2005. Now that was before the Boo Boo Black and before Desiree, um, and then everything moves into 2006. Now back to that point. Now in 2006, um, like I said, we was kind of long distance in the same we in Atlanta, but we still keeping long distance. I want to see her and can't see her and this and that and whatever. I wasn't out there messing around. I wasn't seeing a lot of people, nothing like that neither, because I'm just focused on whatever I'm doing. Now what ended up happening around March. Around March, okay, yeah, 'cause I'm thinking about the places I was staying. I was staying at different places around the areas. Around March, I remember I was staying with Obadiah, and she started to come over, and I think she was gonna spend the night. And I said, okay, so I'm going into now. Oh, I gotta tell she was a very heavy smoker. When I say smoke, she smoked bud. When I say bud, I don't mean she smoked blunts like easy. And I'm not talking bad about it like that. But this is what she used to do. She used to smoke blunts like a cigarette. But she gonna smoke a blunt. I was hit a blunt. I'd be coughing. But another point, energy. You know what I'm saying? Another thing about energy and about the people you're around and things like that. So now I hadn't hit anything in a while, but now she ended up coming over this one time, and we was on the front porch, me and a couple of other people that stayed in there. We all, she had a blunt. I think there was other people who smoked blunts as well there. But we was on the front pool. The women do it in the house, so I wasn't smoking, but I happened to hit it that time. Yeah, I happened to hit it that time. I don't know. I just hit it maybe once or twice. So now we go in there, we getting ready to lay down, go to bed. Like I said, we hadn't. Now this was before earlier. We still hadn't done anything yet. You know what I'm saying? So I'm in the bathroom. I'm brushing my teeth. Now this is gonna get you. This is another spiritual situation that happened. I'm in the bathroom. I'm brushing my teeth. It's in 2006. I remember this clear as day. I'm brushing my teeth, right? And we got like a big mirror in the bathroom, not no little small, like a wall mirror in the bathroom over the sink. So I'm brushing my teeth. I'm brushing my teeth, and I start hearing these voices. These voices just start getting louder. I'm hearing these voices like a conversation, like a community or a lot of people having a conversation. And this just start getting louder, right? And I'm brushing my teeth, and I'm like, and then one voice said, "Put her out." And another one said, and I heard this other voice like, "No, no, 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 no." And then the other voice said, "See, being rebellious." The first one said, "Put her out." The other one said, "No, no, no." The other one said, "See, being rebellious." And I said, "I'm not being rebellious." I thought this, because there was just two spirits at this point. But I said, "I'm not being rebellious. I love her." You know, that's what I was thought at this time, you know. And then that's when the voices just went away. And after that, she ended up coming to the bathroom with me. She ended up brushing her teeth and she flossed. She went in there, and I didn't put her out that day, that night. I didn't put her out. You know, boy, didn't put her out. So I don't know what was going on. Some spirit knew that I didn't know. I didn't know, you know. But the whole point is sitting back, even think about now the times that my phone got lost. I had the same phone number all the time, but my phone, I lost my phone twice since first meeting her. Didn't understand why at the time, but my mind was just set on who I saw. And not only that, on my way to Atlanta, I prayed for the type of girl I wanted. I was asking, I was talking to the creator. I remember listening to on the phone. It's so good loving somebody and somebody loves you back. It's so good wanting somebody and somebody wants you back. You know. So I was like, yeah. And I was talking to the creator when I was helping my cousin Bush move from the Mississippi to Atlanta. So while I'm traveling, I remember listening to this. Just put this in there, just remember, just so it can be a part of the story when the time comes. I was crying and I was talking to the creator. I want me this. I want my woman. I want her to be. And I actually described her. I described I want her to be petite and nice, beautiful and all this and whatever. It was like what I spoke on. I ended up getting that. What? You can almost say a year later, around the time. You know what I'm saying? So not really realizing it because the time going, you ain't paying attention to stuff going on. But like I say, when you sit back and observe, but just thinking about it now, I'm seeing it was about a year later, and it seemed like longer, but it was about a year later when I ran into her. So, but that was something I wanted. That's the difference. See, the Father, the scriptures to say, the Father give you what you want. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times we can want something that's not good for us. And I'm not putting her down in no type of way because is who she is, and she may just been something I wanted that I needed to see that wasn't for me. But sometimes a lot of people go through things and they don't realize that what they want is not for them. Sometimes you got to get what you need, and that's one thing I was growing up. That my stepfather Joe, my other father, which is my stepfather Joe, he always said we sat down at the table. He gave a prayer. He told me, I did. The Lord is my shepherd, and I should not want. He gave up my one of my other siblings. we kind of connected with that prayer. But mine always was, the Lord is my shepherd and I should not want. And that followed me throughout my life in here. Always being like, well, do I need this or do I want this?
Nah, well, I was seeing that too. Dude. I learned that the last girl I was with, because I kept really wanting to be with this other chick so bad that like another style like her. Like I was looking for another style like her, but the girl who came into my life, she was actually so down, like more down for me than any other chick like ever, and would do every, and was really solid. Is like really had my best interest and heart and everything like that. But it's like, and it made me realize sometimes what we prefer isn't what we need.
Right.
Certain preference for a certain what we looking for, like like a type. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what a lot of women is going through too. They want a certain type of man, but they don't realize it doesn't matter with the gender. I just, from my perspective,
I'm with you.
I had to learn it that way, and it made me realize that a lot of women are going through the same thing. They prefer a certain style man, but really the man that's really what you need
ain't what you want.
Look at him because, like you said, your mind is so set on getting, I want him to be this type and this. You got a certain look or a certain type you're looking for, but that's really not what is.
That's fact.
Right? That's not what's going to be good for you, and it's not going to be right. But people's minds are so set on getting, that preference. I prefer this, you know what I mean? And then, like you said, it should be what you really need, not what you want.
There you go.
But people feel like they can just, I don't know what it is. Like people just feel like they can, like it's like the saying. What does it say? Don't block your blessings. Sometimes you block your blessing because you choose not to be with a person because you know what I mean.
Because you're looking for something other than what it is that you need.
You know what I mean? When really that ain't what you prefer. You don't even know what you really need.
There you go. There you go. So can I ask you, the girl that you said that was really liked you, did you stay with her or did you just say you let her go?
Nah, we was together. We was together for a long time, you know what I mean? Like, and like the longest.
That's good.
Yeah, that I've ever been with for a long time, like, you know what I mean? But like I'm not with her. I don't have her no more. And I wish I had her back, you know what I mean? Actually, I do. I hope that one day that she will, maybe reach out in some kind of way. But like, yeah, man, this girl had my heart and interest, and it was like the whole time a little bit. I was like, I kind of like wasn't like all the way there for her like she was there for me. I was kind of like there, like just happy that I had somebody that down for me, but it was like I wasn't. I mean, I realize now, like I said, that
it was it that you knew she was with you, but you didn't appreciate her.
I should have just straight up married her, bro. Like this is the woman I should have wrong. I feel like I could have, but it didn't happen. So I don't know, but it, like I said, if you love something, you let it go, and if it comes back to you,
it's meant for you, right?
It's meant for you. So like, yeah, man.
Well, I'm glad I'm glad. Hey, you see what comes out in stories like this?
Yeah, she came back one time and then she left again though. So it's like I messed it up. I did mess it up. Like I messed it up. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's like I let her know that I'm sorry, and I try to become a better man and everything to try to get her back, and just like hoping that like you said, because it says it in the word that like when a
man find a wife, you find a good thing and obtain the favor of the Creator.
Exactly. So it's like it says what God bring together, let no man
to put asunder. Right. That's it.
Sometimes like that's a man could tear it apart, like you know what I mean. But yeah, like, but you're right though, man. I ain't mean to just cut into.
No. You good, bro, because it's good, and I'm glad you shared your point, man. Because we all need to share information like that, because that's something that we go through, and that's just a good point just to even have in here. You know what I'm saying? Because you're agreeing with something, we agree on something that other people may need to, if they hear it, may need to know. Like right now, I know what I got. Remember, I was sharing with you earlier. I know what I got with the woman I have now. I'm not going to let nothing come in and mess that up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's actually where I'm at with that situation. But like I say, I didn't know. And then see, you know what? I'm glad you came in, and I'm glad I'm sharing this point of view. I had a conversation with a brother a few days ago, within 3 to 4 days ago, about 2 or 3 days ago. It wasn't yesterday, I don't think. I think it was on a Friday evening. Yep. I had a conversation with a brother out of Atlanta. We haven't talked in a little while, but we had a 5 hour conversation. I just want to put snip that in here while we're talking, and I'm glad we had this conversation. We had a 5 hour conversation, and this is someone who's younger than me. He's younger than me and he used to dance with me as well. But I'm not going to say his name. But we had a 5 hour conversation, and in the conversation I'm, I mainly was trying to get him to understand this is life. See, life will teach you things life is not structured to be like, okay, it's going to be cookie cutter. It's going to go this and go there and this going to happen. No, it's going to be a lot of things going to happen. And then, we was talking about a certain situation. Let's just say we was talking about the Nick Cannon situation and Cam Newton and Neo. And what I was saying is, just to share the information, I'm glad we snipped this in. What I was saying is, and what I was trying to share with him, how we got on the conversation, I was saying that people are in the business of somebody's business they have no understanding and they shouldn't be in. And I said, people are coming knowing Cam Newton and always talking about him being with his women, which he has the means to take care of. He has the means to take care of the women that he's with. People are coming in and trying to shame him because he has women that he has children with, because he ain't going to go, quote unquote, going through the system for a marriage. That's the system thing. I said, as long as this man is handling his business, taking care of the children, holding his thing down with the women, he ain't got nothing to worry about. And this stuff that, as far as I'm concerned, everybody else is jealous. Everybody trying to talk to him about discipline, this and that, but he is disciplined if he's taking care. Now, if he's not doing that and he's just making them hoes, this thing right here. Now, if he's not doing that and he's making them hoes, he just messing now, that's a problem. But if he's no different than Nick, if you're taking care of your household, you're taking care of your children, whether if the women is taking care of themselves, if you're taking care of your children, spending time with the children, you're making sure them children is all right, you're doing your job. Ain't nothing. But then this brother, I'm just going to say this brother, he was cookie cutter. Well, the father needs to be with the children. The father needs to be in the household. The father needs to be. I said, wait a minute, hold on, bro. I said, if a man is out working, because my wife, they got in on the conversation, her and another sister on the phone. My wife said, I was at the house all day, and my father, I wouldn't see my father 8 hours out of the day. And a lot of times he come, I didn't see him then. He always had to work. That was your aunt, but my wife said about her and her father. And they even said, my wife and the other sister on the phone said, that's the agreement they had. And this is why I said, bro, a lot of people is in the business that people are talking stuff that don't even concern them. If this man has an agreement with these women to have children with him for a legacy or whatever, if he can handle that and he's doing his business and he's taking care of everything, these children isn't lacking, that shouldn't even be a problem. But the brother's like, but the children the kids need the father. And then we had to go to the point, I had to break down to the point of the system broke up the homes. He was trying to say, well, they doing the same thing the white man doing. I said, bro, the Caucasians or the system, I don't like saying I like to say the system because that's the one who did it. What the system did was this. The system, number one, they took the men off the job. You got to look at it as the system. The men couldn't get jobs. So now the men can't get jobs, but they're at the house. So now what they're going to do is now this is where welfare and assistance come in at. So now you got welfare and assistance for the women, but only if the man is not in the house. So they actually broke up the homes. The system actually broke up the homes, and then the women got to the point where now this is the reason why I'm coming with tomorrow night. Isaiah 4:1 coming soon. That's my title for tomorrow night, and I think some of this is going to be added into that. But just sharing that at this point right now because it may give me a remembrance for tomorrow. The system has separated the home by giving women checks, welfare check, food stamps for everyone that has a baby or the ones that don't have no man in the home. They've separated the home. These men didn't have money. These men is trying to survive out here being separated from their household. The women is now married to the system. The women married to the system. Now they getting their welfare check, they getting their food stamp, and the system is taking care of them. Then you got it to the point now these young women was even interviewed. I don't need no man. What we need a man for? I can take care of myself. How they getting taken care of? They getting taken care of by Section 8, welfare checks, all the stuff that's going on. I even text some. I had a conversation with somebody on Facebook, and they was talking about Trump. And in my conversation, I said assistance means to mean assist. It doesn't mean get on there and be taken care of. It doesn't mean that. It means to assist until you get better. Our women is even taking, when I say our women, mainly us, but it's us and the Caucasians, everybody really. The system itself of the people have taken on the system to be the women that is. They're taking on the system to be their husband now because they don't need no man. They can open their legs and get pregnant and then want to go and get an abortion, but they don't need no man. The Father made women and man sex in order for to create and procreate. So I'm coming with that tomorrow strong. I'm coming with that strong tomorrow. I'm going to give scripture. I'm coming straight from the bone. That's going to be strong.
That's even new either. Like I watch there's a couple channels I follow on YouTube that's like archive channels that be showing old documentaries from the 80s and 70s and 50s and 60s.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember I watched a couple of them that was talking about when they first started doing the wells. Like it was one from like the 60s or something like that, and it's showing how, it's talking about how the man couldn't be in the house. And
that's what I'm talking about.
In order to get the welfare, like when they first implemented this, like the man's shoes couldn't be at the door. Like it was serious. Like,
that's it.
Man's shoes at the door. So they started like this because this is when the social worker would come to the house.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Hey, I hope you're on tomorrow, bro, because this is gonna be the topic tomorrow. I hope you're on tomorrow because this is what I'm going to bring out. And and I'm gonna try to cut it off now, but by Trump doing what he's doing now, everything has to be cut, straightened out, and put back in order. Because these women is going crazy now. These women is just going plumb crazy, and I gotta stop it. Let me cut that off right now. Tomorrow it's gonna be on, bro. We're gonna talk about this. Have your conversation ready and talk about what you just shared. This is gonna be ready for tomorrow. Mm-hmm. You ready? I hope you be ready, bro, because this what you just said is what I'm talking about.
A couple of them, rewatch them just to have some extra good points.
There you go, bro. There you go.
When it comes to the origins of it, like you said, because you got to get to the root of how it started. This is we're gonna save it. And I don't know what got me there is because I was talking about the brother that I had a conversation with yesterday on the point. This, but that's gonna come out tomorrow too. So I'm gonna say all that for tomorrow. But I was talking about Desiree, which was my ex, and I was talking about her, and that's how this kind of got into that point. But so me and her, like I said, when the Spirit told me to put her out, I didn't do it, but it was just in my, how it lingered in me. Put her out. And that lingered in me for a long time. If I'd have put her out, I don't know what I'd have did. But the point is, I didn't put her out. Now it comes to this brother named Dex Lee.
Me and Dexley had a gig coming up, a big gig. What's the brother? Walk it out, walk it out, walk it out. They was coming out with that. They was just starting out with that. And me and Dexley, we practiced for on another song, but I guess they was the headline because we went on just before them. But we practiced, and I remember we went to a place. We went to a place. And this is around 2000. Yeah, I think this was in 2006. I believe it was around in that time. But we went to a place that we used to practice at, right? So we waiting for the people to come to open up. So I'm outside and I'm sitting under a tree. This was like on a Thursday. I think the thing that happened was Saturday night or Friday night. No, it was Saturday night. Yeah, it was Saturday night because I seen Desiree on Sunday. I tried to break up with her, but she didn't want to break up. So this was like Friday night was the I think it was Thursday or Friday that we was practicing. And I remember sitting under a tree, and I was talking to the creator of my mind about leaving her or putting her out. Right? Oh, I had something before then. I remember before that day. Yeah, thank you, Father. Before that day, I was working at Rooms to Go. This is another place that I'm working at. Rooms to Go, which is another furniture place. This is in 2000. All this in 2006. 2008. Yeah, 2006. I think this was before I get up. This was before I started doing alkaline water. This was in 2006. I remember. Right after the Spirit told me to put her out, I think the next day I went to work. I was working at Rooms to Go, and I remember the roof was more like a tin roof. I didn't know it was a tin roof because I couldn't see it, but it held that day. It held, and when I was listening to it, the hell sound like bubbling, like how not boiling water but boiling oil boiling. That's where when the hell was hitting it, and I was like, I got kind of scared because now it's like connection. Night before the Spirit told me to put her out, and I didn't. The next day, it's raining, it's hailing, and to me it sounded like boiling oil bubbling, like when it's boiling. I'm like, that's still on my mind. So now we're practicing for the show coming up on Saturday night. So this is either Thursday or Friday. We're waiting for the people to come. Now I'm sitting up under the tree, and it's still on my mind about putting her out. So I said, well, Father, I'm saying in my mind, I'm talking to the Creator in my mind. Father, well, I love her and what have you. I said, but can you give me a sign? I don't know if I asked for a sign or can you show me if you want me to be with her or whatever. Soon as I said that, bird dropping hit me. Boop. And I think it was a bird on a period or it was something with I don't know if it was bird droppings with seeds in or whatever, but whatever it was, I think it was red in it. But I looked and I got up and all I said, oh man, so I just knew that was a sign. But I had a 10-year relationship with this girl, long distance, and it was hard for me to get rid of her. Number one is it was like Nathan and Daniel. Like Nathan and David, Nathan's soul cleaved unto David. That's kind of like how I was with her. But I would try to break off with her. She wouldn't break up. And it seemed like when I try to break off with her, she'd try to get more closer. I was like, man, So that was that Thursday. That was that Thursday or Friday evening before we did the practice. And then me, Dexley, and the group that we was together with, we end up performing on that Saturday night. We ended up performing. I got off. I mean, but now Dex Lee, he done did choreography for Usher and other people. He was pretty well known. He did choreography for other people, right? So me and Dex Lee, we was cool. We was real cool. So but I got off that night. When I say I got off, Dex was a little jealous, and that always happened. I don't never do it. When I get out there and dance, I dance, and I just do what I do. Some people get jealous behind it, but he got a little jealous behind that. And the brothers with the walking it out, they wanted me to do something with them, you know. But we end up leaving after that, we end up leaving. And then we was at a house, me and all of us was at a house, and we all had a conversation, and I was giving them understanding about what I was going through at the time. And then they said, well, you better break up with her then. I just kept getting that. And so that night I tried to drive, I was buzzing, because after that, we went to a house, we sat down, we were drinking and everything, what have you. I tried to find her. She had moved into an apartment not too far from where I was, because she wasn't in her, she moved in, her and her cousins moved to an apartment. I tried to find it and couldn't find it. I could not find it that night. I was looking. Now, that same night was on Saturday night. And I was crying because I wanted to get to it and I wanted to break up. Sunday come, I end up meeting up and I end up going over there to where she's staying at, and at this time I had a Volvo. I had a brown Volvo, and I was traveling and went to see her. Me and her, we went for a walk. We went to talk. I remember having like a little vision. I had a vision the night before. It was like the little skirt she had on. It was like the skirt that she had on. I had a vision of it the night before. But the whole thing is that she didn't want to break up. She didn't want to break up. It was like it was hard for me to break up with her. It was hard. And like I said, it was 10 years, but ended up being a long distance relationship because she ended up moving to Alabama. Long story short, she moved to Washington with her auntie or cousin, and then came back and moved to Columbus with a cousin, and then she ended up moving to Alabama with her family. But we had a long distance relationship, and she never wanted to stay with me. She never wanted to give, because I was like, we need to get together. This was my first thing. I was like, we need to get together. We need to make an account. I was thinking like family. I was thinking like getting together. She didn't want to do it. She wanted to have a long distance relationship. That might have been the situation. I don't know. But the whole thing is my time was being wasted and I didn't realize it. So that relationship lasted all the way up until the relationship when me and Joanne got together. She was still trying to be in the picture, but it's been so much between that. It's a long. Or I can say she was in and out the picture the whole time. When I say in, we had a long distance relationship. So I would go and visit her in the long distance relationship, stay over there, stay with her for the weekend, sometime maybe a week, and then I go back to Atlanta. A lot of people, I wasn't messing around with nobody. I wasn't seeing nobody. She was my, now a couple of times, I did have a small relationship with a couple of people. Like I say, a small relationship with a couple of people besides Tanisha. Tanisha, she knew about. Another couple of people I got with because we had a long distance relationship. I let her know that me and somebody else, I got with somebody else. It was easy for me to tell her that because I broke that barrier before they lived in Germany. When I told Karen, my boy's mother in Germany, when I told her that I have, that I messed around. So now it's easy for me to say, well, it was, I ain't like I just want to tell her, but I had to let it be known. So I let her know, the couple of times I did mess around. She don't want to be with me, but yet still, she was always there. So she was always the person she was, but I didn't see her. She didn't seem like the type of person that would be out there because she wasn't that type of person. But, she was free-minded, free-hearted, she's just free, So I could have been naive on that. Could have been, don't know. But the whole point is, it was something, long 10-year relationship. And I'll just say from 2005, 2005 when we first connected, really started 2006, all the way till, was it 2016? No, 'cause me and Joanne, we got together. We actually got together in 2018, but 2016, I think really I was really kind of pushing away, but she was still in the picture, but I was more like, I made it back to Detroit at this time, but I was still pushing away, and you know, finally broke it. But when I was with Tanisha, that's another one. That's just before coming back here. I'm past the point. So I'm an hour and 30 minutes in right now. But ooh man, it was a lot just came out of there, just thoughts. A lot of thoughts came out of there, and just at the point where I'm at, that's just getting with Desiree. And that was the vision or the vision or the spiritual situation I had when it told me to put her out. I had a lot of them. But that there, and one thing I like to say is that people that hadn't even met her, my mother, my biological mother, she had never met her. She said, "No, you don't need to be with her." I'm like, "Yeah," and I started wondering, these people is telling me they ain't even met her, they don't even know her, and they telling me they don't know. I got a cousin in Rockford, Illinois. I was going to visit him, and I think I either told him about her or she talked to him one time or what have you. And he told me, you don't need to be with her. I was like, man. And I just started noticing certain people and it was just like, that's another sign. It's like signs is being shown, but it's like if y'all understand or if anybody understand what I'm saying, it's like being told something, but you're just not listening. It's a song that used to come out. Don't let them say, I told you so. They say you love me and didn't let me go. Or will it be that like love I am blind? That I want it so much till it's all in my mind. That's Smokey Robinson. One thing I know for sure is really, really real. Oh, the way you make me feel. I don't know about. It's Smokey Robinson. I've got that was one of my favorite songs. That's why it came to me like that. But it's a lot of things. It's a lot of songs that tells you that people tell you not to be with somebody, but you like them anyway, and you be with them anyway. I forgot the name of it. I forgot the name of that song. I just remember some of the lyrics to it. But that was Smokey Robinson was singing that one. But yeah, that was whew, that is something. And you go through life and you start, and like I said, it was a lot of things I went through, not with her bad, but just with her, and a lot of things we couldn't connect on. We have we used to, and boy, she used to. When I used to have a conversation with her, we would talk all day long. Couldn't take care of anything. This boy just sitting up here thinking about. Boy, it was a whole lot. It was a lot of time wasted. But I used to still take care of my business, but it was a lot of time wasted in between that. Whoo, boy, just looking at that, and that's just the beginning of it. That's just 2006 I'm talking about. And then that was the end of 2005 when we met after Boo Boo Black and that, and then me meeting her, and then going to our that was into 2006, and then the situation with performing with Dex Lee, um, and then just moving around, just moving, just going through certain situations. That was 2006, and then 2007 I ended up meeting Chris, and getting the alkaline water machine. Once I got the alkaline water machine, I remember one time. Now I'm promoting myself. We walking around IKEA. I'm giving out my flyers. She gonna try to tell me, don't be putting your flyers. If you with me, don't be putting your flyers. I said, who you think you is? You know, I still have my integrity. I still have my mind. I'm out here trying to hustle and do what I do now. You know. But then she ended up seeing later on, she started to really see the potential in what I was doing and started to hear about it because she really didn't know about it at first. So, but, you know, not putting her down or anything like that because she is who she is. You know, she probably wasn't for me because, and then again, long story short, I was 17 years older than her, you know. But when I saw it, it was just like I liked what I saw and we connected and that's what it was. But end up, I was 17 years older than her. Yeah, yeah. I just gonna say that I was 17 years older than her, and
What, you 17 years older than who?
Desiree.
Oh, okay.
Desiree, I was 17 years older than her. But when we connected, when we connected, it was just like a connection. She liked me, I liked her, and when we talked, I let her know how old I was, and she told me how old she was. And at the time, she was 22 when I met her. I think I was like 30. I was 30 something.
So that made you 39.
Something like that. Yep. She was 22. I was around 39. Yep.
I
Yep.
mean, you know what it? That's all. Age ain't got a number. I mean, yeah, age is nothing but a number. I mean, as long as she's like, you know, of age or whatever like that. But
yeah, she was 20. She was 20. I remember.
Some people are, you know, have mature taste.
And she was. Yeah. Yep, she was. I remember her being 22, and like you said, you hit me when you said 39. Cause I said I was like, I know I was in 30s, late 30s, but I wasn't 40 just yet. I wasn't 40 yet, so I knew I was in my 30s, and I remember she being 22, but we hadn't got together until after she was 23. If you know what I'm talking about. So you know that was something. Yep. But that's why I didn't see nothing wrong with it. She was 22. I was 39. You know.
What name? I heard, you know, this is Elijah Muhammad. He says, you know, I guess you should have a woman half your age time plus 7. So I guess at 39, that would be what, 15 plus half of 9 is 4.5. Basically 20 plus 7, 27. So yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know. It's not exact, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, you know, as long as she's mature enough and y'all mature, you know, it's not just on some.
There you go. Yeah, and that's how it was. That because I seen her being mature. She didn't act like no child. Matter of fact, when I met her, she was a nanny. She was actually taking care of a. Who is this?
Somebody, yeah, you better check first.
Yeah, you already know. Let me pause this. Matter of fact, let me pause it anyway because I'm about to go into part 2. So hold on, bro. I'm going to part 2 and let me see what this is anyway. So I'm gonna pause this.
Recording stop.
All right. And greetings, greetings, greetings. Who may this be? See, there we go. See that? Remove.
All right, yo, I was like, what? Not again. Are you serious? Somebody did that? Like, wow. They have nothing better to do than that shit, bro.
But you see what I'm saying?
It's probably the same person, too. Because they got a, what you call it? A modus operandi. Like, that's the same MO.
Well, I don't know. This time they showed a female. Usually they try to put that other stuff up there. You know.
Yeah.
I'm glad I paused that though.
Every time, son. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So let me go ahead and let me let it be known.
Recording in progress.
Yeah, so everybody in progress, just let you know that was somebody who shouldn't be in there. So I'm glad I had that on pause. And we'll be right back with part two. We in part one. And this is Life of Mikael, question and answers, part 11, part 13 and 14. I believe this is where we at. 13 and 14. So we'll be right back in a few moments. Zoom. And other than that, I just like to share with everyone that I am that Mikael in Daniel chapter 12, verses 1 to 3. Yeah, that's me. Showing the holy people who they're really supposed to be. Waking them out of their dead beds, which is really in their heads. For all of you who lived in the new, this is for you. I'm the same Mikael as Revelations 12, battling that red dragon where Satan dwell, who deceiveth the whole world but prevaileth not, because the horn is blown without a doubt. This prophesies for you to see that Mikael is really me. So Zoom, we'll be right back. I'm glad you didn't see what was on there. That ain't as bad as it usually be, but it was bad. So other than that, we'll be right back. Peace.
Recording stopped.
All right. And for Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube Live. Don't forget, you can always call or text me at 770-572-5315. That's 770-572-5315. Or you can email me at lkhyym@gmail.com. That's lkhyym@gmail.com. This is the end of part one, which is actually Life of Mikael part one, which is actually part 13. Part 13 and 14. 14 is coming up in part two. And this is the end of part one. And we'll see you in a few moments. Other than that, you can always connect with me. Now my Instagram, YouTube Live, and also my Facebook. You are of part one, which is on live, YouTube Live, Instagram, and Facebook. You're part one, which is of the recording, which is part one and part two. So you are of those recordings, and the full recording, which is Zoom. Zoom will be on YouTube video, which is Juice Pro 33. That's YouTube video, Juice Pro 33 on the video for full, but part one and part two will be on YouTube Live. And the full version will also be on X, formerly known as Twitter, which is also Juice Pro 33. Now, Instagram, which is L'chaim_the Juice, which is LKHYYM. You have a part one and part two. And also Facebook, which is MI_CHAEL space HARRIS. That's MI_CHAEL space HARRIS. You will have a part one, which we're at the end of, and also a part two coming up in a few moments. And also on, now for the full, the patreon.com will have LKHYYM/LKHYYM. We'll have the full version. And rumble.com/LKHYYM will have the full version as well. And X, formerly known as Twitter, will have the full version, which is Juice Pro 33. That's X, formerly known as Twitter, will have the full version, which is JUICEPRO33, all together. Excuse me. All of a sudden. Now my TikTok, that's L'chaim_the Juice as well, just like Instagram. But that's just my TikTok. It doesn't have any of the recordings on there, which is LKHYYM_the Juice. And also my other TikTok is Michael the Juice Harris, which is MICHAEL THE JuiceHarris. That's my other TikTok, and that's all together. Michael the Juice Harris. Excuse me. So other than that, I thank y'all for your time, your patience, your listening ear, your seeing eye. We'll be right back with part 2 of Mikael, the life of Mikael, question and answers, part 13 and 14. First, we're gonna say bye to Facebook. I thank you for your time, your patience, your listening ear, and your seeing eye. Be right back, and always, peace. And over here on Instagram, I thank you for your time, your patience, your listening ear, and your seeing eye. Appreciate, love you, and always. Peace. Mhm. And over here on YouTube Live, excuse me, I thank you for your time, your patience, your listening ear, and your seeing eye. Appreciate, love you, and always. Peace.